figure out how technology can help the community. And the way I kind of see it is really at a high level. I think we have residents on the island who have challenges, and then we have organizations who have challenges. And is there a way that technology can help connect both of them together, in a seamless way? So the demo I want to give is basically, we started off about a year ago. We got some investment from RIVVA to kind of build out sort of the initial phase, which I'm going to give you a demo for. It's live today. It's an iOS app. It's also a website called visitri.nyc. It's for the visitors coming on the tram to get a much better experience on exploring the island. And the next phase is figuring out how do we get organizations like you integrated into the platform. Really, I think I spent the first 20 minutes on the deck, not too much on that, but really I wanted to kind of get your feedback in terms of some of the challenges that you're having or some of the things that you'd like to have seen on the app, and then in the next couple months we can work together to kind of figure out how we can integrate some of these features into the platform to help you out. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let me get this going. So again, as I said, the Citizen Project is the name of the nonprofit. We're trying to figure out how technology can help by connecting residents, visitors, and businesses and everything on the island together. So the first 6 months of our organization was spent just talking to residents and talking to organizations, and what we found is the residents really don't understand, would love to have a way of accessing all what the island has to offer in terms of activity, events, news, alerts into one single place. Today they don't have that. They also want to kind of figure out how they can submit if they need assistance. Today it's kind of scattered all over the place. There's many organizations that help. They don't know where to go to centrally. So that's another concern that they had. And they want to provide some feedback. We have a lot of great businesses, but they have no way of telling people what's working, what's not working. And so the residents really want to give that sort of sentiment back to the organizations, including RIOC as well. And then on the organization side is, we have a lot of organizations that don't know how to communicate with the residents, right? We go through either a great journalist platform that Rick has and other things, but there's nothing that's centrally kind of managed. The other one is the visibility. Lots of great stuff that's happening. I know Christina runs the Healing Forest. We have my friend Rosanna who runs the Wildlife Foundation. There's a lot of great work happening on the island, but I don't think the residents really realize that, right? And I think if they did, the residents themselves would invest, either financially or through, who was I talking through, volunteerism, right? To help out with the organizations. So that's really the sort of the high level sort of arc of our initiative. Okay, so the first phase, and this is live now, you can access it, and we'll give you sort of the links and stuff afterwards, is how do we centralize everything on the island? This is all the businesses, all the nonprofits, not right now. So we created a data model where we can start with a lot of the stuff that's already there. So you can Google everything, all the businesses, right? But we've added other things as well. We enriched it with a lot of things that you don't find on Google. And really that's gonna be the basis of trying to figure out how do we create this one big data engine that has all of our businesses, but then enriched with sentiment, feedback, all these other things. It's all interconnected to one data engine to get the insights that we need to help improve our island. This means from the resident side, what is the sentiment? What is the quality of life from residents? Today, if you ask someone, you might hear things, a sentiment on town halls and the feedback, but there's nothing systematically to connect what people feel about the quality of life, either short-term, like short-term challenges, or long-term. And so this is something that we want to kind of store and leverage to help the residents out and understand their challenges. And vice versa for the organizations as well. I want to give you a feedback and an outlet as well to kind of quantify the challenges that you're having. Some of the things that when we spoke with a lot of our public officials, and they say, well, what is the extent of the problem? It's really sort of anecdotal. Here's the problems. They don't understand the scale of the problem. And so that's some of the things that we're trying to fix with the platform that we're building out. And let me see if I can play a video here. I don't know if it's gonna work.
And the name of the app is?
Right now it's for the visitors called Visit RIVVA, but the iOS app, it's gonna be called the Roosevelt Island app, basically. It's the central app for everything.
And you can just go to the App Store.
The App Store, download it, right? Right now it's just what you'll see is basically a non-profile version, which you could just explore the island. But then the next version is gonna be, you can create your own profile, and you can have a much more personalized experience. To say, here is my profile, give me all the things that might be relevant to me, not only in terms of services on the island, but also events or any other kind of promotional things that we have. So when you come in, it gives you sort of the categories of the island, and I think my team went a little bit too fast, so maybe I'll just keep pausing here. One of the things we also did is, we all seen a Google map, and it's great. I mean, if you want to just kind of get things done, it's great, but it's not good, doesn't give you like a very immersive experience. So what we did is we actually worked with a design agency in London to really take our island and digitize it in a very playful way. And so what you'll see is, it's really detailed, but to a point where it's not high fidelity, and we left it that way. And the reason for that is because this is the foundation for then overlaying a lot of data on top of the map. And so we're gonna be, in the future, you're gonna be seeing a lot of events that are happening live on the island, or any kind of real alerts. Everything will be centralized and visually displayed on the map. You know? So I think the video might go a little bit too fast, but so you have 3 sections here, and from a visitor experience, is getting here, right? Which is, when you're coming here, what are the things that you need to know and plan for? What do you need to know about the island? Then, you come to Explore Island, this is pretty much a central thing for you to understand and search for anything on the island, restrooms, restaurants. We also have a feature called Walking Paths, which is something that we work with the businesses to kind of curate an experience. So we have like 5 or 6 of them right now, where you can come and say, well, I want to take a nature walk, and it kind of guides you through the island and all the highlights as well. So it's pretty cool. And then the heading back is, once you're done, you go to heading back, and we've centralized all the real-time transit options. So if you go to the subway, you'll see the real-time for the F train, right? But we've done that for the tram, we've done that for the ferry as well. So it's all centralized in one location, you'll see that here.
Not the red bus yet.
So, yeah, so the good news is, RIVVA has started working with us on the red bus. So we've actually integrated the Q102. So actually that's something I didn't mention here, and you may see it, is this map, we've actually taken a bus icon and have GPS real time displayed here. So if you look at the map, you'll see exactly where the bus is. And when you click on the bus, it will also tell you the times of when it's gonna get to the future bus stops, which is very cool. And we're gonna take that same experience, we're gonna do that for the red bus as well in the coming months. I don't know if you saw the bus there, but, so this is the map here. These are all the categories, and you'll see sort of all the kind of categories kind of laid out here. You also have universal search. So you wanna search for anything, it's here as well. And then if you, I don't know if so if you double click on that, it will also, let's see if it pops up here, hold on. So here it is. Let's see if you click on that. Click on that. Okay, there it is. So we have, this is the content that you see for the businesses. And this is important because this is where the org portal that we're creating for the organizations, you're gonna have one central place to maintain that content and make sure that's always up to date. And this is the walking paths, so you see they're color coded, and you can select any one of them and it'll kind of take you through that sort of experience from where you're at. And I think you'll, oh, here's the bus, so you see the bus. You clicked on the bus and you see all the stops for the Q102. This is the getting here, so this is just basically all the transit options. We're kind of enriching this in the next version to say, like, when you're here, what are the things you need to know? The buses are free, whatever it is that you need to know. That's gonna be sort of the content that we have, and then heading back is what I was telling you. So all the transit times centrally managed here. So that's pretty cool. And then we also have something here, like if you're a visitor, you wanna kind of rent and buy here, you have sort of that link to kind of go to sort of the Hudson related and see all the properties that are available for rent and buy, purchase on island. So yeah, that's the current app. There's lots of great things happening sort of in the coming months. We're working with Rick to integrate his news as well. So all the news right now we centralized into our, we'll also definitely go out to his website, but it can be centralized within the platform. And then the events as well, so Rick has all the events that you see on things, it's all centralized, but that's also gonna be kind of curated and kind of accessible from app centrally.
Question, for
Sure.
example, Rick already has a web page, so he pays the hosting and the name for that. For the small nonprofits that are here, that we cannot have a website, or pay hosting, or pay GoDaddy for the domain name, how you're gonna be able to display our information in your app?
Yeah, so that's a good point, that's the org portal. So what we wanna do is you guys probably all have your own websites.
No, I'm saying if we don't have, and some of us are too small to have a website and to be able to host it,
Oh.
by the domain, how are you gonna display our information?
It's gonna be through our platform. So what you see here, that the page for the organization, the social links, anything that you wanna kind of advertise, is all gonna be centrally managed through the back end of our portal.
So we don't need to have a website?
You don't need to have a website.
Okay.
People will essentially come here, so you don't need to even deal with websites or domain names or anything like that. And it's included, it's free, it's not gonna be a charge.
Okay,
In effect, this will be your website, in effect, right?
Yes,
okay.
But if we do have one, then that can be linked to.
you can link
For
it,
the specifics
yes.
of like.
We'll also give you a website link and we'll show that to you. We'll also give you social links as well. So your social handles and everything else can be centralized here, people can access it.
Yeah.
But if you don't want the website, you can just use the content here, right?
So, for example, the senior center sponsors a mammogram bus a couple times a year, and we send it to Rick, he puts on in his calendar.
Yeah.
Is it the same type of thing, we would submit it, or we would post it or list it ourselves? on this
That's
app?
great. So today, you go to, Rick has a central
Mhm.
repository of all the events. When you create your own profile on the platform,
Okay.
you're gonna be creating the same events, but it's just gonna be your events. So
Okay.
you can come back, create your own, you can modify and delete your own events
Okay.
by yourself.
But where will it show up? Could you explain where it will show up once they
Yes,
enter the
so
information?
it'll show up in sort of the portal here for all the residents and visitors, but it'll also show up on Rick's site as well centrally.
Okay.
It'll be there.
But would somebody have to click on Roosevelt Island Older Adult Center, or would it just be a general thing happening on May 12th? The mammogram van in front of River Cross?
That's a good idea. You know what, let me, actually, let me see what time it is. See if we have time. Maybe it's worth, do you think it's worth showing that new welcome screen? Maybe
Yeah.
that's a good idea, right? All right, let me do that. Hold on.
So there's an events page
Okay,
also. So say you go to the events page, today's Thursday, so maybe it'll show Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If the mobile mammogram van's here on Monday, they'll see it on Monday.
okay, that makes sense.
I mean, that's the theory.
And
Yeah.
one question,
Sure.
do you guys consider, like, a way to differentiate visitors from residents? Like, there's sometimes events that are only for residents, because we don't have the bandwidth to take everybody from the city or everybody visiting New York. So, or we don't want our kids to be identified where they're gonna be for event of the school, or Girl Scouts, or baseball, or people that we don't know. Is there a way that
But you
we
want-
can
that's a-
protect
I mean,
youth, or
that's-
our
it's a good point.
limited, resources that we have to have, like, something only for residents and something for everybody else?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Is there a way that we
So,
can have,
there
one
may-
for only residents, like information only for residents
Uh-huh.
that show up, and information for everybody? One, because we don't have the bandwidth to accept like everybody from the five boroughs or from outside the five boroughs.
Susie, are you saying that only island residents would have access to?
Yeah, to see that information. And the other thing is to protect our youth from knowing where they're gonna be, or where school they go to, or what event is going on with youth, because sometimes we have to think about that.
Okay. Yeah, let me
So the
take that.
children aren't exposed, you're saying?
Yeah, all children are
Yeah.
not exposed. That's why we usually don't have names on the t-shirts or,
Backpacks?
or backpacks, or the whole name for where you live, or for school to go to. That's why the Girl Scouts universe don't tell you where do you live. So
Yeah.
the youth are protected from outside bad people.
Yeah, so you're talking about whether, when you create a profile on the site, whether that
Events,
information
like,
can be
yeah.
socialized? No, that would be private. So whatever you put as in your first name, last name, no one can search
No,
that.
no, first name and last name, how we can protect our kids from people knowing, oh, there's
So-
gonna be the Halloween from PS217, usually only Roosevelt Island knows, but if we put it there,
Oh, I see what you mean.
everybody will know, and it's gonna be full of children, and they will come.
Oh, got it, okay.
And even if they don't go inside, they will be lurking out.
Got it.
That's what I'm saying.
I see, okay.
So I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about information that would already be available on, say, the bulletin boards throughout Roosevelt Island, those bulletin columns right along Main Street.
Yeah.
So this isn't exactly sensitive information, as I understand it, beyond it being a resident, source of information. I think what you're asking is, can we create a level of security where you have to prove that you're live on Roosevelt Island in order to
I
access
kind of
it?
think, because sometimes we don't have the resources or the bandwidth to serve everybody that wants to come because they see it on our page,
Mhm.
right? Like the Halloween parade that it's announced for everybody, and now we don't have the resources to serve all the people that come. And the outdoor trick or treat that we keep saying, keep it quiet, don't announce it anywhere because we cannot afford everybody coming here. That's one. And two, if Carter brings a mammogram truck for Roosevelt Island residents and nearby, right? It's for our community. If we announce it there and everybody sees, we may have people coming from all the way Upper West Side because that's the day that they can and they saw it and they bring more people in. And some of those resources that we're providing for our community
That's
are
right.
for our community, not for
I think
outsiders.
that's a good point. I think if you think about I don't know if you guys were here for the Cherry Blossom
Yeah.
Festival.
Oh, yes.
20,000 people showed up, right? So I
Right.
think you have a good point, right? I think it might be something where when we create the events, we can have a flag that says island residents only, where then it only displays on for
Right.
island residents, right? Not the
Mhm.
visitors.
And that flower event that happened a couple of years ago as
Oh
well.
my
Oh,
God,
yeah.
that was
Right.
horrible.
But I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, right,
you
the-
could, when you show the event, you could say for island residents only or open to the public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. We could have a flag or something,
Yeah.
created in City
And
Square.
then people will assume, oh, well, I'll have to prove I'm an island resident when I get there.
Or we could just create a registration, where you don't necessarily even have to prove that you are a Roosevelt Island resident, but the casual tourist may not bother to set up an account unless
Yes.
they are.
Right, just make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just by, there's not a level of, individual verification, which I think would be a huge scope to manage, but really just, create a barrier to
Yeah.
people who just have a casual interest.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So I wanted to show you this. This is sort of the next version that we're releasing in the next few weeks. So what you see here is all the events that are on Rick's site. They're all centrally kind of displayed here. So the way we're doing is it's going sort of chronologically. So whatever events are there today, it's being displayed, but then also subsequent events as well. And so when you click on this, it will open up the event. So, and then we can put in, lots of other details as well, like sign up or register here as well. One of the things I wanted to mention, so we also integrated React alerts. So if there is a React alert, you'll see like an iPhone kind of numbering scheme here. So if you click on this, you'll see sort of the event here as well. Yeah, so this is going to be the page, and then there's some subsections, and then we kind of renamed the getting here to news and events. So you have sort of the events. You also have the news as well, which is all coming from the source by Rick. And then you have some other sections here as well, like planning, so getting here, navigating through the island, and these are all things that you can kind of go into. And then finally, kind of island info. the island history, moving here, things like that. And the way we created this sort of UI is extensible. So if we want to add in more content, right, we can kind of plug in more tiles and widgets. All right, so going back. All right. So now on the organization side. So I think, let me see if I can just click on the prototype and take you through what that looked like. So now this is the other side, right? So you saw the front end side. Now how do you manage that content? And so we want to have sort of a profile that you can create on the platform with your organization. You'll fill out some details. And then once you do, you'll come into this page, and there's really two sections here. One is the profile. The profile is where you would kind of give all the information about your organization, right? So this is all stored. You can fill what you need. The website, social media thing. You can also do upload images as well. You can also manage events as well, so that we talked about this, so I think who asked, right? So this is where you'd have a calendar view of all your events, and you can create an event. And you can see all your existing events as well here.
You say, maybe I didn't pay attention, is already online, these things, or not?
This is what's being developed in the next few
Oh,
months.
okay, no, because I was checking and I say, I don't see it, where is it?
Yeah, so that's a good
Okay,
point. So
fine.
this is what's being released in the next few months.
Okay.
And the reason we're doing this today is to really kind of present this initial kind of design and really get your thoughts and feedback, right? Because we're building this for you, we're not building it for ourselves, right? So we want to kind of get your feedback. And so this is not just the end, this is the beginning of the conversations we'll have over the next 2 months to kind of finalize the design, get your feedback, the testing, and then get you onto the platform, right? Help you get on the platform and then make sure it's adopted and you're using it.
Thank you.
So, Kaushal, will each organization that uses the portal have a separate link that they can then send out so that others can click on it to go directly to their page?
Yeah, you mean the events itself?
No, so the PTA has their own page on the portal.
Yeah.
And that has a link, right? So can that link be accessed independently of the app?
I see. Yeah, we can do it, but it would be within the platform. It would not be a website that you can just click.
Right, but a person can click on that link and go to that page in the
portal.
in the portal.
Yeah. So this is really, this is about the events and kind of doing, and I think we have some kind of designs here of what that would look like. And then you have the services. So this is interesting. So services, it depends on the kind of organization you are. So if you are sort of a business owner and you have dry cleaners, each dry cleaner, each business would be a service. But if you are, let's say, a soccer coach and providing soccer services or swing services, those are services as well. So we're trying to generalize this idea of service or business into one. And so when you come here, you'll have all the things that you can kind of add, remove, right? And this automatically gets updated into the universal search for residents and visitors automatically.
Would it even be possible to have, say, a page of tags that says, if you're an island resident who's looking for a daycare and an organization has set up their profile and they flag themselves as a daycare, that way you can kind of quickly access categories of organizations on Roosevelt Island, rather
Yes,
than having to
so when you
search.
create, and we don't have that yet, but we have a place where you create your profile, and it will give you all the tags. Any tags that you think is relevant to your organization will be here, and so when the people are searching for organizations, any of those keywords, your organization will pop up.
I think that's great, but I guess what I'm asking is, could there be a page that, shows like the list of tags rather than having to guess, like if you want to search for something, already see what services are available on Roosevelt Island. So, already might flag sports, the sports park might also flag itself as sports.
Yeah.
And so when you click on sports, you can just see every organization that's categorized themselves in that way.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw the demo, right? We had the categories.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that it worked that way.
It did.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so it would be which category you belong to, but in addition to that, we'll also have tags that don't fit into categories, or we might, so we'll have both.
Sure,
So
okay.
granular and the categories as well, where you end up in.
Great.
Yeah.
But you would categorize yourself as
Yes.
you created your profile.
Yes.
That's how it would then come up in a general search of a certain category.
Yes.
Great.
That's right.
Yeah.
In the for each organization, is there a possibility that you guys can add, besides events and services, one that is like openings or job offerings, or and the other one will be like in case that they need something, or volunteer or something like that?
That's true, so that's a good point. That is something that we're thinking about. The reason we haven't put that in is we haven't figured out the resident side. So the resident side is who wants to give back to the community in any way, right?
Yeah.
Once we do that, then what will appear here, in addition to these paints, it'll be volunteering kind of requests. So you can say, you know, I need from our organization, I need these people with these skills, right? That would get posted out into this sort of platform where people who are looking to volunteer will have all the openings for all of our organizations.
Yeah, that's for volunteering, and if an organization is hiring someone, that we have job openings.
Yeah.
Will also be displayed there?
Yeah, so you can imagine that it's accessible to anything that you want to display. We just need to kind of figure out the other side of it as well. Like, you know, when people come in and figure out, you know, if they're looking for a job, if they're looking for volunteer opportunities. And so this is really the way I think you're connecting the organizations to the residents, right? Now you have sort of interconnectedness between in a single platform. And then the other thing I wanted to kind of talk about is the insights. So this is something that, there's a lot of data out there, and I think, you know, about the island in many layers and many factors. It's not socialized anywhere, right? And so one of the things we want to do is also try to provide data at your fingertips. And there's various types of data. There's demographics, so you understand what the island makeup is, right? We also have data in terms of sentiment. So one of the things we'll be able to do also is we're gonna create a feedback service as well. So all the services that we have on the island, the residents themselves can provide feedback, direct feedback. So you can understand what's working, what's not working, right? With the commentary and sentiment. That's number one. Number two is, there's a lot of data out there in terms of movement as well. So if you're running a business and you want to understand where the visitors are going, where the concentrations are and so forth, there's a wealth of data out there. And so we want to kind of bring that all together, right, into this platform and provide it to you as a way of getting more insights. So those are the kind of the three things that I think as a starting point for the organization. So really, again, it's the content management, it's the syndication, so we're gonna start about events first, but then volunteerism, hiring, anything we want to kind of communicate back to the community, and then the data insights, right? Those are the kind of initial things that we thought out might be very helpful to the organizations. So really that in itself is the org portal. Will be ready in the next 3 months. And the next step is, so today we'll send you all the materials. We'll send you the link to the prototype. You guys can play around with it, give some feedback. We'll implement the feedback by the end of October. And then again, these are general, these might kind of shift the timelines, but then once we get the feedback, we'll have development sometime mid-November, kind of at the raw state complete. And then testing probably end of November if there's no bugs, depending on the bugs. And then it go live before Christmas. So I'll pause there. I wanted to kind of hand it over to you guys and kind of get your feedback. I have my notepad here, and I'll take the feedback now, in addition to the feedback that you will give once I send this out. Marty.
I just wanna make sure I understand the calendar, because right now, RIVVA Gallery, we have current events, upcoming exhibitions, we enter those all in on our website. But when we have an upcoming exhibition, Laura usually tells Rick, and Rick puts it on his calendar. Are we now gonna have to do it for yours, or are these all gonna flow into one, like a relational
It's
database?
all
where
gonna
we
be
put it on
flowing
the
in
web-
one.
So-
It's gonna be one single repository. So if you enter it into this platform, it'll automatically appear on Rick's.
How does it get on our website?
What's that?
How does it get on our website then?
It doesn't.
It doesn't,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
not on your website, no.
No, I understand, but couldn't we have something like a calendar on our website in the kind of format that would feed right into you? So we put it on our website, and then it goes to you, it goes to Rick.
Like a nice.
It's like a relational database, where you just put it in once.
Okay.
Well, the way it currently works is that if you have a calendar and you put your events on your calendar,
Right.
that information gets scraped automatically and goes on my site,
So you-
which
you
then
have
would
to do that for
automatically
anything
go.
else?
I just enter all the information about the event that's
Where?
coming up on City Spark.
which is not our website.
That's mine.
That's what I'm
It's a
saying.
third-party platform
So
on
that,
RIP.
that's yours, so I'm saying, we put it on ours and
And it has
on
horrible
City Square.
categories.
You wouldn't
Like,
have,
let's
if
see
you
it.
just put it on your website, we'll be able to automatically put it on ours.
That was my question.
Yes.
So we just put it on ours, it'll go to him, it'll go to you, and then.
You're already
we'll talk-
scraping that today, Rick?
Yes.
Your site? Okay.
So you won't have to do cities.
Starting when?
Oh, not until this is.
Yeah, not yet.
Right, right, but I just wanna make sure that's how it's gonna flow, so it's built so that if we have to do a certain format on our website to make
Yeah.
that possible, we'll do that.
Well, even now, if you put it on your website, it should be scraped and automatically come on my site. It should.
Doesn't.
I think the difference is, right, I think with this, we're gonna have a unique identifier for other organizations to say
Okay.
this is a RIVVA event,
Okay,
right? If you scrape it, Rick, you may miss that. That's the problem, right? So
Okay.
we have to figure that out. Is there a reason why you wanna keep the events on your website?
yeah, because some people aren't gonna go to your app, they're just gonna, they know Riva, they're gonna go on our website and look
Yeah.
for, they look at past exhibitions, they look, we wanna know about the artists and
People on
things
the
like that.
app.
We want it all there on there.
No, that's a good point.
It's very
Can
tough.
we do,
Yeah.
can we do an iCal, can we do an iCal so it will be easier for you guys to read?
The
iCalendar.
calendar, so you just double click it and it appears.
So so if I write an iCal, right, it's shareable, and you can use the link to be able to read it and post it on your events,
Yeah,
right? And that way it will be easier for only maintaining one for everybody if they do an iCal. Because it will be readable by every single phone. It will be readable for you. It could be displayed on our website, the ones that have websites, right? And it's not doing an extra work. I have to put it in my website and I have to send it here.
yeah, that's a good idea. I think one of the things we can do, Margie, is maybe just have our subsection of that events just published on your website, right? Maybe you create it here, it appears on Rick's and ours, and it automatically populates your website.
Ours, okay,
You
and
know,
then we put
that
in
way
the
you get away
additional
your
stuff we
event
want.
system, you just use essential one that's kind of.
I don't care
better
where it's
distributed.
ended, I just want us to do it once. and
Yeah,
then everybody
absolutely.
does the same
That's the
thing.
whole point of this, right? You wanna centralize all the
Right.
content management that you don't have to go to different places to do. Okay. Christina?
I might have missed it at the beginning, 3 questions. Sustainability for 20 years, 50 years, 75 years. Things change, platforms change. What do you envision this lifespan to be?
The lifespan,
Of being able to have your back-end folks working on it, doing it, paid for?
yeah, no, that's a good question. So, one of the things that, we are using what we think is a very maintainable framework, so the back end of this is all AWS.
Okay.
It's industry standard, so we're using all industry standard stuff, nothing very esoteric that, also because we have a volunteer base of 25 to 30, and it changes because it's volunteerism. And I've sustained it for the last 2 years to make this happen. So it's been working, but you're right, we're always thinking about, the thing can dry out, I totally agree with you. So in the back end, we're trying to figure out how we get the funding, right? So we're looking for sustainable funding through a lot of our partners.
Okay.
Public grants and private investments as well.
And regarding those, well, let's say you choose a giant company and they are funding it, like, let's say Con Ed.
Yeah.
Will that be displayed, their logo, so that
Yeah,
we
no, that's a good point.
consider
So-
compatibility of our mission?
Yeah, no, our mission is to really improve the community we live in. We're not going to be branded in any way.
Okay.
We've always told everybody the investment is a donation.
Okay.
It's you don't own the website. We don't wanna give off, we're not biased in any way, and we wanna remove that bias. So regardless of who's funding us, right? The other thing I wanted to kind of bring up here is, I think a lot of organizations kind of are not visible today. They're doing great work. And I think that by increasing the awareness and visibility through platforms like this, I think it can help facilitate getting the funding, whether it's private, whether it's actually from the residents themselves. There's a lot of great work that's happening on the island, and I would love to invest, now that I know about it. But a lot of people aren't as connected as all of us here are, right?
Yeah.
They just go about their lives, their busy lives. So, but if you have platforms like this, say, hey, listen, here's some of the great stuff that our organizations are doing, how can you help out? And we talked about volunteerism, but it could also be a donation as well, right?
Yeah, that was my next question. So what there was a model in a very small island in Canada where there was a free store, and basically because there was a small community on an island, if somebody had clothing or furniture and then didn't want it anymore, they were able to put it in the free store, and then anyone else could go and take it. So in that same way, in a digital world, wouldn't it be great that that couch from apartment 10 ends up at someone else's? You know, there's never been a really easy way to exchange and upcycle items. And so you've got a volunteerism, you've got a service. Wouldn't it be amazing to also just reduce the landfill waste completely and exchange things? We've had people who are moving and they come by the food scrap for compost and say, here's our, top shelf spices. We're moving out of country. We are not taking these. And what a shame. Oh, you think of how much there is, the bounty and the plentifulness.
Yeah.
And a lot of it gets thrown away. So this could really step up in the sustainability / responsible.
Yeah.
And I feel like an island community where we are pretty tight, that could be a big plus even for funders.
Yes.
That this is what this is trying to, this is the mission, or this is what it's trying to achieve.
No, I love that.
Do you have any thoughts? I mean, do you think it's a doable thing? Does it get too wonky? Like right now we have these strange building links. Some buildings are allowed to communicate inter-building. Others are locked down if they're part of a hospital or they don't want to communicate that way.
Yeah.
And only go from the management. It's been frustrating to not have a flowing water system of communication to every building. Like I know Jane and I walk around with flyers to the buildings to tell them about an event. Like, what is that? And we have to like be friends with all the doormen, which is great, but it is so inefficient.
Yes, that's true. And then we have so many Facebook groups in the island because we're trying to communicate.
And
among each
WhatsApp
other.
groups
Right.
too.
And for example, maybe
New
you know
families.
that someone is moving from the Octagon. Oh, I saw this couch that is great
Yeah.
for you, that it's the size that you need. We're
And
not
just
allowed
a
into
thought.
that Facebook group because we don't live in the Octagon, and those furniture go to the landfill
Yes.
because no one takes them.
Yeah.
But we need to be able to communicate among each other.
Yes.
And I think that what Christina says is really, really good because a lot of people will not use this app. They will not use it. But others might be willing to really use it because
They're looking for
there's
things.
the moving out sale, right? Donating stuff like
Exchange trips.
spring cleaning, winter cleaning.
Yeah.
The school,
whatever,
when
yeah.
the students leave, right?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I think
Yeah,
Jane, you
like
had
big
your hand up
reuse
as
and-
well.
I did, I mean, and on Facebook, for instance, I belong, there are all these buy nothing.
Free, buy
groups.
nothing, yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
belong to the one from 60th to 71st, for example.
Yeah.
So if that started on Roosevelt
Yeah.
Island buy nothing group,
Yeah.
then that could be linked up,
Yeah,
link might not be the right word,
Yeah.
into the app.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think it's worth putting some thought into that part, Christina. I think one of the things we're thinking about as being the citizen project is, when we're working on the resident portal next, is, we are the citizen project, and to me, what does that mean? As a citizen, what is your responsibility to be a good citizen, right? It's to make sure that your environment is sustainable, it's making sure that you're volunteering, you're giving back to the community, right? And we're going to actually we have sort of like a gaming system where you have badges to say how much have you
Build up
donated,
your
how much,
neighborhood,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So it incentivizes people to say, listen, am I actually being a good citizen, right? And so, but vice versa as well, I wanna make sure that's happening at the organization level as well. So then how do we quantify that? This is where the data comes in, is how do we quantify it and say that here's what defines a good society, right? I think it's all the parties working in concert to make it great, right? But how do you quantify that? And that's what you need to kind of figure out. So that's probably the next phase of the platform.
And I don't know if it exists, but we always talked about a digital welcome. So you move here, you're a young parent, you've got your first baby, and you really can't find anything. And I always wish for each building to have, what I call the digital welcome package.
Yes.
Hey, guess what? There's a farmer's market, there's a this, there's a that.
Yeah.
There are new parents groups. I work with so many young families and they don't know anything.
Yes.
And
No,
I
I
feel
agree.
like, wow, they found the perfect neighborhood that's safe and great to raise their kids, yet they are completely disconnected.
I love that. I think that's something
And you have
that,
those manager meetings with all the managers of each building. Hey, good to see you.
Thanks.
Joyce.
Yes, we'll be in touch. Okay. Thanks, right. No, I think that's great. You know, for the resident experience, that the citizen badge is one, the other one is a welcome package, because I think all these things, there's a parents network, right? So there's a lot
Yeah.
of other networks that are happening on the island, I know
There's
that.
a few parents networks and the
Yes.
new mothers made their own because they didn't know about that one.
That,
Yes.
yeah, it's just that with
They age
time,
out. They
it
age
goes
out.
like down the drain because
They
no
age
one
out.
has the stamina, let's put it that way.
To sustain
keep it going.
Yeah, right.
And keep it right, and then you see, that's what I said, too many external people that you don't even know who they are.
Who they are.
So that's why you want to keep your kids safe.
Mhm.
But yes, like, some people have been living here for 3 years, and they don't know that we have a Catholic church, as
Yes.
simple as that.
Mhm.
Or they don't know, like, that church has services for home, like which dedication.
Mhm.
Right.
Or they don't know which of that we have mosque, or that there are
Yeah.
like 2 Jewish services.
Yep.
So just as simple as that, even though they see the places, they don't know.
Has management bought into this?
Mhm.
Like each building, each of the managers of each building meet with RIVVA, let's say quarterly, or, you know, maybe let's say 3 times a year, depending on leadership.
Once a
Is this something that the communication has been bought into by folks that are attending from each building, or?
I don't know we've gone to that level yet.
Hmm.
No, you're talking about the managers of each of the buildings, but yeah, we
Well,
haven't done that.
Well, through the Roosevelt
they
Island
do.
Business
They do.
Alliance, which is composed of many of the
The buildings.
building managers and owners,
Right.
they are fully, I mean, Alex can support this, they're fully supportive of what's going on.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Triva's been a
Oh
great
yeah,
partner in
Triva's
this.
the new kid on the block, which is a great business alliance, okay, good, that's terrific, but there is also that meeting, maybe even more for safety or, you know, emergency plans for re-op with building managers and just like trying to stay in touch. Maybe really top level, but,
Mhm.
you know, I know you were working on trying to get the red bus,
Yeah,
and, then I see the transit app, I'm like, can you scrape it if they're not gonna give it to you? You know, like, how can you get all of it? Or did you get the red bus?
so we are getting the red bus, which is great. Yes. But this is great. This is great dialogue. I think part of it is we'll take some of the feedback, keep it coming, right? I think what would be nice is if probably when we take the feedback and we implement it, maybe a session before that, maybe have a place where, maybe not this, but a place where we can actually whiteboard some ideas together and kind of think about what the future looks like, right? Once we implement this,
Yeah, or test it,
or test it, yeah.
live testing to see what the bugs are, will you guys do that?
That too, right? But in terms of the next concepts, if you're in the industry, you probably heard of Figma. We use Figma for prototyping, so you don't need to build it. You can just build experience and see how it'll look like if it'll work for you,
Okay.
right? And then we take that into the development pipeline. Questions?
My name is Arya Shirazi. I run youth sports programs on the island seasonally. I have for years. And I've actually just created an island-based nonprofit, Roosevelt Island Sports, which will be running year-round sports programs for this community and the surrounding communities. So we're kind of going live at the same time.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited to kind of be on the ground floor of this and for my growing organization to have a presence from day one. What I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is really impressive. And it's also very, very ambitious. You know, I mean, it's kind of, you know, and I don't say that in a bad way at all, but just, you know, the mandate, even, you know, from this sample is vast. You know, you know, information for off-island people who are visiting, information for the island community in a variety of different areas. whereas also, job postings and event postings, and an aspect of Craigslist where, if somebody wants to get rid of a couch, let people know. So I'm saying, so, I think in order to maximize, and obviously, this is, I'm sure, what you've been figuring out and have figured out to a large extent. But I think really, in order to maximize what this can be, ultimately, there has to be, I think, almost island-wide buy-in. And even, I was reminded of that when Susie said, oh, well, we know that, a certain percentage of the island community just isn't going to use it. And I think that that's human nature, but also, like, as I said, I mean, the potential here is really incredible. And I think for it to truly be comprehensive, and for it to be what everybody here, which is a small sample size, kind of envisions it being, for this community, which is really, kind of wearing very, very many hats. As I said, kind of, it's how it is rolled out and getting almost the entire island to buy in, so the information can be almost complete. So any events that are going on here, those are being posted, those are being included, rather than, through no fault of your own, a partial information based on who is participating and who is contributing. For businesses, restaurants, when you click on food, we want, we need all of the food options from the highest end to the groceries to be represented, or else this is falling short of what it really should be.
Yeah.
So again, I don't have any solutions, but I'm just saying, like, as I said, I'm incredibly impressed with what I'm seeing already. But, really just thinking, how do we get the entire island to kind of recognize this? Because really what we need it to be is for this, as you're saying, you are culling from all these different sources and repositories that are available where people might be getting their information, or might be posting their information. You are consolidating all of this in the Roosevelt Island app, which again, the potential for that really is incredible, but it's how do we get almost the entire island to buy in, so truly this is as complete a picture or complete and informational as it possibly can be.
Leave no resident behind.
Something like that.
Well, the way we looked at it is what I've realized is you have to incentivize people, to do it. If there's no incentive, it's just like word of mouth, and then it's not predictable, right? So we looked at the visitor experience, and we realized that the experience is very poor when you come here. You see that map on the RIVVA, and then you're kind of on your own, right? So we're working on that. In the next version, we can show you, but it's this sort of curated experience where you can say what highlights you want to see, and it curates the entire thing for you. And I think, Priscilla and I talked about it. She's going to be one of my guinea pigs to kind of talk about when you're taking these walking paths and you see these highlights, you have the audio kind of thing, the whole thing. It's a much more immersive experience. So that's what the visitors get out of it, right? For the residents, talk to them, they want their challenges heard. It's very hard to get challenges heard. We want to build a data engine of sentiment to tell the politicians, the public officials, the RIVVA, what are people suffering from and having challenges with. That doesn't exist today. If they said that if I put something in my sentiment and that it's actually going to get fixed or someone's going to work on it, that's an incentive for the residents to get on the thing, right?
But
now,
they do have that thing.
Well, they have the
Not ticket, but whatever that is.
Yeah.
the RIVVA constituent services.
The ticket,
Oh, yeah,
the
ticket.
ticket, the ticket.
Are you gonna tap into that? Like,
You see a
there's
pothole or
two
something,
choices.
it's on their ticket.
311,
Yes.
where all of that is logged and the electeds look at it per region
Yes.
to know the issues, and then the hyper-local TIKKIT.
Yeah, ticket.
I thought they switched it to
No,
another
Yeah,
brand.
They changed it to a different
Okay,
platform,
okay.
but it's Right, still the it's the same. same.
Okay, so where you can say,
American's baby.
there's poison ivy all
Yes.
over the ball field, and then
Yes.
they go clean it up.
So a lot of the data for the
And they're
fuel.
really good about doing that.
They are,
They are
they
really good.
take that
Yeah,
work
open
order,
it
it's
to us.
open
Yeah,
ticket,
and they let you know when it's finished,
and they
they
send
send
a
you a
picture.
picture of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a lot of
So
this stuff
that's
is gonna be
exactly.
leveraged,
Yeah.
right, as open data with ours as well.
Okay.
So you can do it, and so we're gonna normalize that for them, right? So then, the person just has to go to one place, or they can go to different places, but then, in terms of who sees it, it's
Congregated.
all collated and collected and
Yeah.
consolidated, right? One of the things we're planning to work with the public officials is to see how they would use this data, to see what the challenges are, and in different categories, and we're kind of using the same model as the 311, if you think
Yeah.
about the different categories
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
so we can normalize data much more easier. And so that's really for the public officials, the RIVVA to come and say, here's some great sentiment data that we have. We have short-term, long-term, near-term, and the great part about this is that's just the challenges. What we don't usually see is what happened to those challenges. So for each one of those challenges, we're going to create a workflow. And the workflow engine is going to say, it gets assigned this issue, who is working on it, right? So today we have RIVVA doing most of the stuff, but if we want to democratize problem solving, it could be RIVVA solving a problem, it could be Rebecca Seabright solving a problem, or it could be, Joe Schmo next door solving a problem. We want to bring that all together into one single way to help each other out. And so that's really the next kind of big evolution of the platform. But again, to your point, is how do you incentivize? Why would anybody want to get onto this? It has to be something that's compelling enough, or people are not gonna get onto it. Right? You can do all the marketing you want, but then ultimately, it'll fizzle out.
It's like one more app, everyone.
Just another app, right? People don't need that, right? So it has to be
My
something.
phone.
So we did a lot of analytics on why people would even get to an app to do it, to log on.
Well, sorry
Yeah.
to preempt, but at the end of the day, this app is intended to be a way for residents of the island to access the resources
Yes.
of the island. By
Yeah.
resources, I mean the local organizations.
Yeah.
And for that to be effective, those resources, meaning us collectively,
Yeah.
have to endorse this as a tool that is preferred. So
True.
we all have our own
Yeah.
media channels now
That's
for
true.
reaching out our various constituencies. I think that as this app goes live and we start to use it, there has to be a push collectively of us saying,
Make it.
visit us on, our page on this app,
Yeah.
this is the way that we want you to engage with us, and that way you kind of encourage the groups, various residents to get to a critical mass of this app and become
That's
the
right.
primary channel for all of our organizations.
And that's why the partnership with RIVVA is very critical.
Yeah.
because
That's right.
They're very helping support that.
So
It's
the
gonna
business.
be- Sorry, go ahead.
Just to finish that thought, so the businesses, through TRIVA will want to adopt this, or smaller nonprofits will want to adopt this. Hopefully REAC will want to plug in and say, that there can be a path for residents to reach REAC through this in some fashion.
And I'm hopeful because I think the new president,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
catalyst behind giving us the access to Red Bus. I'm
Oh,
hoping
great,
that
okay,
there's
good,
things
good.
to change.
Yeah.
So just to show you how things have changed, I had a meeting with BJ Jones last week, and I talked about the problems getting the Red Bus app on our app. The next day,
They reached out.
they reached out to us and say, hey, we're
let's
gonna.
get this started.
Yeah, so that's,
and
I mean,
it's kind of stalled for.
it's night and day,
Christina knows a long time.
Right.
So,
yeah.
In your categories, is there a possible way to add youth? Because I'm trying to look who's there or not. I know that it's not the final version, absolutely. But for a parent, it will be extremely difficult to check each of them to see the place I need to go. Like, if I want Main Street theater classes, for me it's arts, but it's not arts. It's listed as services,
yeah.
right? And in sports and recreation, right, it's listed all the playgrounds and the racquet club and sports park. But as a parent, I will not, with a toddler or a 6-year-old, I will not put sports and recreation. I will like to have one that is youth, to see everything that serves the youth, like from 2 years old
Yeah.
or 3 years old, all the way to 18. That will be so much easier. And I think that, not criticizing you, I think that the way the public is gonna use it or the residents use it, like usually you don't think about services as Main Street theater,
Yes, right.
right? You don't think about that. is, oh, my kid needs to learn how to play the guitar, oh, youth, and maybe from youth you go to music,
Yes.
not through arts or services. I think that that will make it so much easier for everybody, like the way we think here.
Yeah.
Because here we don't go, oh, I'm going to River Cross Crossing, or I'm going to the 400s. We don't go 635, it's Westview. We don't say 40 River, it's Manhattan Park. And we never know the address of the other, for example.
3A. It's called the 3A.
So,
Three
no,
A's.
as an example. So, and we say Capo, we're going to Capo, not Capo Bianco, blah, blah, blah. Or the tennis, or the ping pong tables, we don't use the actual names.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right?
island slang.
Yeah, island slang.
Or
So
dialect.
a slang for categories, I think that, that it will be so much easier to find something if it's the way people think.
Yes.
That's what they really are,
Yes.
because it makes life easier, and if it's easier, many more people are gonna use it.
Yeah, no, so I think just very quickly on that, so when we create this profile, when you create a profile, you'll be able to create your own tags and maybe even your new categories. So we have a recurring way of kind of just making sure we're normalizing data and make sure it fits. But also the tags will allow you to do all the sort of island lingo, where if you can search universally, if you type that up, it'll automatically come to where you're trying to search for.
Right, if
because
you
it's
type in a
associated.
category, you're gonna find it in there.
But if it's not, she's saying if it's not in the category,
You can tag
if you just
it.
wanna tag it,
Uh-huh.
you universal search it, you can
Right.
just say compo or octagon,
And
all of
it'll
a
show
sudden it'll
you
just show
which
up,
things.
and it'll show up
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah, but, for you. And the other thing, I don't remember if it was, Margie or Christina or Alex. If for the events, if it's possible, like, to have a link of the app or of your website, so we can share it in our own websites or put it on our flyers,
Mhm.
right? That will link people towards this,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, like a
Instead of
QR
our
code for this?
webpage, yeah.
Yeah, the
Uh,
QR
so-
code, yeah.
But specifically to the,
Yeah.
like, the PTA,
Yeah,
Halloween.
instead of like PTA dot,
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
PSIS217.org
That's a good
slash
one.
Yeah,
Halloween
right.
bash. Maybe it's, what is it? Visit ry.nyc.events/Halloween bash. And everybody will go to your calendar.
Right.
And from there, they may find the webpage of the PTA,
Right,
right? Or, there's
Something
one more thing.
something
So I will
parameterized,
keep
right?
scrolling, yeah,
Like parameterized, so visit NYC/something.
yeah.
Yeah, the thing is though, I think, let me think about that, because ultimately the website is going to be just for the visitors. The app, the iOS and Android app will be the ones that we'll download for a better experience, so we'll figure out like how to link it, because I think we talked about the website as well. We'll have to figure out how to link that, where you can just kind of embed it into your website and it'll go directly to where you need to go on the app.
And, the other thing, when you say, app, some youth, they have phones that are completely blocked, so they will be only able to use, internet, but not install apps. So you also have to think about that, because they are powerful, they might want to know at what time the subway or the tram is coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have a kid going to South, right?
Yeah.
So he might want to know if it's better to take the tram or the subway back home. And if they cannot install the app, they will have to go through the website.
that's a good point.
Are you color coding things? Like, let's say all art is purple, or all nature stuff is a green color, or all sports is, what color do you want?
Kind of a navy blue.
Okay, go.
No one will click that.
Yeah, keep it.
Maybe blue, try harder.
My analytics
You're
tell me the
right,
reverse, so we'll
exactly.
see.
But curious, what do you mean by color code?
So when you have, like Alex was talking about, the categories really matter.
Yeah.
Because the current thing that, that Rick is utilizing, an outside party, they have like so many categories, there's like 1,000, and not one of them is like outdoor event or green or nature or whatever. But when you have your category, youth, art, music, theater, nature, you could have a color. I mean, I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are colorblind too, but like you could have a color that is like a quicker read. I just feel like these
Yeah, that's-
categories really matter,
Yeah.
and these categories
Should have a
from the
color.
beginning should be offered up from the community of categories that we would probably be looking for.
Yeah.
It might help you just in the very beginning, and I didn't go on yet, so.
I think it's probably gonna be a process of refinement,
Oh,
because
okay.
I think people
All right.
will wanna get very specific to say, I want this, because this is the way I think about it, but then the balance is then you get everyone saying that, and then you have 500 categories and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's too
So you
messy.
have to
Okay, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of figure out
I
the
get it. Yeah,
hierarchy
yeah,
of
that's true.
things,
Yeah.
Yeah,
or it
that's
gets
true.
very confusing instantly to kind of figure out where you wanna go. That's why we have the categories, Susie, right? But to me, I think ultimately, like, on my MacBook, I use the universal search.
Yeah,
On the MacBook,
okay.
right? That, it just gets what you want instantly, right? But I think there is a point to be had that if you wanna look at all the playgrounds on the island, you should be able to know that category, like, you know? So I
Yeah.
agree with you, there's some balance there.
It'd just be so fun to like say, what's happening tonight on Roosevelt Island that I can go to? Oh, there's jazz here, and there's classical music there, and it's just like the hotels do this like
Yeah.
Right,
stay
put a
tonight.
generic calendar.
Yeah, like where can I
Ideally,
stay
the
tonight?
calendar would be the
Yeah.
place really that would.
We,
Oh,
That
okay.
would have
That's
all of
true.
the events that were happening
An actual
across a
calendar,
variety
like
of
that.
I'm free
categories,
tonight.
right?
Where can I go?
Sometimes there
On the
are
island.
events
Right.
that we don't know about,
Yeah.
and sometimes they appear in the secret page of a secret blah blah blah, and you find out that half of the same people are going there and like, why I was not invited? Oh, it was in this webpage. You find that webpage,
But a
right?
calendar is this.
But a calendar-
Okay, yeah. that's
So,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
the calendar does exist, the problem is always getting the groups to input the information.
Cause it's a double task,
So
and,
unless
and we don't have the
groups
bandwidth.
take it upon themselves,
Yeah.
the responsibility of putting in those events, I mean, that's ultimately the way it gets done.
You don't wanna do 3 times on your website.
So lazy, that's
on
why
the- I know, that's what you were talking
That's
about.
my point, yeah.
Post it for us.
Sorry. That's what
This entire meeting's about, that like people are just incredibly lazy, so how can that all be catered to? Literally, I mean, like, you know, it's like, oh, nobody's gonna wanna do something that takes 2 seconds.
Right, right.
It has to take like 1 second, you know?
Sorry I started.
No, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's exciting and depressing.
Yeah.
Right? It's all like, how, like do everything for us. No, we should still
no.
do
Bandwidth,
it.
And
Some
it's
stuff
not
for ourselves.
Nothing
Like,
will ever be able to
We're
be
small
done.
groups. It's
no,
bandwidth.
right, and it shouldn't be. I mean, like, actually, there should be a limit where it's like, like, all of this information is put in, but you've gotta do 10% of it.
Right.
Like, you know, like. it
An
can't-
organization will have to do their job.
Right, like, you know, like.
Yeah.
But there is something we said.
And
about
that's okay, I think that
because
keeps the blood flowing.
We live
You
in.
can't please always remember, man, you're working really hard on this, it
Yeah,
looks great.
and you can't please
please everybody.
Yeah,
So-
no, I agree, you can't do everything for everyone, but
Don't
what I'll
try.
say about this is, you know, we live in the world of ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things we wanna do from the end user experience is, I think what you were saying, is not even look at or click through to anything. Just, there's going to be a chatbot that just you click on, says, show me all the things tomorrow, and it will come to you, right? So, because we're building this kind of data engine, all that stuff can be now accessed and kind of, communicated in that kind of conversational way.
Yes, but you need us and everybody else that is useful like that to be able to provide the information one way or another,
Yeah.
to be
To make it
displayed in your app and in your website,
Exactly.
right? And, which is absolutely great. It's just that if we don't use it, nothing gets displayed. If we don't update, nothing gets displayed, and this is not you, this is not everybody on this planet.
Right.
So we need to, as Arya said, I just said,
I just don't
we
see
have
the
to do
diversity
some
in
work.
this room.
People have to actually stop and read. So, yeah, and the more we incentivize people to use it one way or another,
Yeah.
it's better. Sometimes maybe they could say, I'm gonna give 10% discount if you show me that you have the app and the website, and that you are like, giving a review or whatever, and people will start getting it. Red Bus will be a great incentive.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
people
that's
to
great.
start getting it.
Transportation, everyone wants to know that.
Dishing out discounts already, Susie?
Once that is on, everybody
Throwing out
will
discounts.
want
I
it.
got you this discount last season.
It's like, no, I wanna know when the subway is here. and
All right,
then-
this is great though.
Thank
you
you
know,
so
yeah.
much.
Thank you.
That's very
We're excited, thanks for coming. how busy things are, like, we